Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we'll be reviewing the G1 Legacy Insecticons. So this review has been in the making for a while now, mostly because I was waiting for this member to go to a reasonable price or for me to find it at some point. Because I must say here, Shrapnel is the hardest to find out of all three of these. He wouldn't, his wave just never appeared at retail for some people, and because of that, people that did get him and scalped him immediately to absurd prices. I don't know what happened with distribution then, but yeah. Bombshell, from what I understand, also had a similar problem, but not as much. But yeah. So, these are the original Insecticons: Kickback, Bombshell, and Shrapnel. This being a grasshopper locust, I believe. This being a rhinoceros beetle, and this being a stag beetle. But obviously highly mechanic-esque. As you can see, they're not as realistic as the Beast Wars animal designs, because this was before all that. This is year one, 84 level stuff. So yeah, these are also based on their they're basically just the G1 toys, but with added articulation, and some new things, but not much. They have the original yellow canopies that on the original toys could open up and you could fit a Diaclone driver in them, if I am correct. Because a lot of the original 84 cast were Diaclone based, and until I gotta say 86 and onwards maybe is when they stopped relying on a lot of the Diaclone stuff. But yeah, which one? We should start with the first one to be released, that being, oh, I gotta say, this one was released in Legacy Wave 1. These two were released in Legacy Evolution Wave 2 and Wave 3 respectively. So yeah, here we have Kickback in his grasshopper-esque mode, and for an update to the original G1 design, I gotta say it's pretty faithful. I do like the more robust clear plastic, as you can see here. This stuff's not gonna break at all because it's just very solid. And also, I feel that's what Legacy has done better at in most recent years. This was the start of them reworking their clear plastic, making it thicker, more durable, and less prone to breaking over time. So yeah. So you can store his rifle here on the bottom using this peg here, and honestly has a nice little Tommy gun-esque look to it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, and also, this is another accessory of him. This forms the back of the bug mode, or at least I think it does on an actual insect, but it's more so just a method of storage. Because if you just want it to be full on G1, then you can just remove it, and also separate them. And then using these tabs here, you can just plug them into these there's groove segments here that you can attach them just this is that. Well, for some reason this one's not wanting to go in. There we go. So just like that. It's sort of wing bladed accessories, I guess, if you want the bug to have an attack mode. But yeah. Also, I gotta say, last effect compatible, which is pretty cool. So yeah, let me get these out of the way, and let's get to the very simple transformation. So to start off with, we will fold out the fists on either side, and then bring it all down, and then bring the arms forward. So for the back legs of the insect mode, just rotate the foot here. Oh, that's also something I completely forgot to do. Articulation for this guy in bug mode. So before we continue with the transformation, he has a pseudo ball joint at the head, so you can get some rotation, but it's blocked by the panel here, and it's also just a head in robot mode. His front legs can go all the way out here and do a full rotation. There's a rotation here, and the little legs here can move, but they thump into place. It's not a hinge like it is back here. Kind of. Actually, and then this is on a full hinge right here. Legs here are just the robot mode legs, and the back feet here are on ball joints and hinge joints. So yeah, back to transformation. So just do everything that I showed you earlier with the arms, just like that. Then rotate the bug feet around, fold them in, and then fold them up like that. Fold out the feet, and then unclick the legs from their bug mode. Bring up the antenna, bring back the wings here, and then make sure you fold this panel into the back, then rotate the head, and there you have Kickback in his robot mode. And it is faithful to the G1 character model. This is literally compare this with the 86 reissue of the G1 toy from Walmart, and it's basically 1 for 1, except for the fact that he has to be a bit bigger to accommodate the fact that he has actual joints now. He did get a release in the Prime Wars trilogy, as a Legends class, which essentially are the old version of Core class. And that one, from what I understand, is pretty good. But honestly, if you want a one that's purely G1, honestly, I say go for these if you can find them for a good price. But I do think that Hasbro might be doing a Diaclone set of all of these bots. So yeah. So for his articulation, he has a ball joint going into the chest, which just allows him to get some side to side, up and down, and then full rotation. The wings here do have some articulation. They can pretty much do a full 360 if you want to do that. You can have them displayed back, forward, or in any way that you want. So for the arms, same articulation as I mentioned in the insect mode, full rotation out all the way, full 360 degrees, and over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. And also you could technically get a double joint if you use the transformation, but then you just have this vestigial thing. He does have a full waist swivel, uncompromised. His legs can go forward that far and back that far, all the way out. Full on thigh swivel, and 90 degrees of bend at the leg with a very good ankle tilt and some toe pivot due to transformation. So yeah. And for his accessories, you can give him his G1 Tommy gun weapon, which technically should be the only thing he has, but he does come with these blades here, which they're cool. Honestly, I tend to forget that he has these until I mess with the figure again. But he can wield them together as a giant sword, and he does, technically due to transformation, have the ability to point it because of this becoming the back leg. So you can point it and everything. And you can store them in their bug mode configuration on the wings. You can't, well, essentially shove it up his butt. So yeah, so can do this. So there we go. So you can just stick it on there, have it be an energy effect, I guess. But yeah. So, how dare you? So yeah, that was Kickback. Let's do a quick size comparison with something I got nearby. Here he is with Bludgeon. If we're going from the head, he's obviously shorter, but if you count the wings, he's a bit taller than him, actually. Which is surprising. And so just one more. Actually, I'm going to save that for when I finish all of these as like a final size comparison. So yeah, that was Kickback. And now let's move on to the second released. And here we have Shrapnel, the stag beetle of the group. And I'm going to say for all these are pretty much like accurate and like almost one-to-one for their G1 toy counterparts. And what's surprising is I do wonder why this guy was so scalped, besides the fact that he was the second member of like the team. I would have thought that Bombshell would be the more heavily like priced on the aftermarket, but for some reason it was Shrapnel. So yeah. For articulation, basically the rest of like this bug mode is basically solid, like a solid break. Like there is some articulation, I count it, like you can like move the back legs here, which isn't much, but you can open the pincers here and then just like pose like however you want. Like if you just like want them like tackling, like grabbing a figure and then all that. But the front horns here are blast effect compatible, and honestly, I just find like keeping him in bug mode like this is surprisingly satisfying. Like it's that sense for me of this is something that I never had as a kid, but now I have now. Like especially just having this set like entirely complete. But yeah, you can have him shooting off whatever you want. And also the gun up here is blast effect compatible, and so are the back legs, because these form like extra guns on the undersides of the arms, which, speaking of which, you can also store the blaster like under here if you want to make it look more symmetrical, but it's more awkward in my opinion, so I just tend to leave it up here. So yeah, let's get on to transformation. First things first, fold the back things up, and then untab the arms from the legs, fold out the fists, just like that, and now the arms are all done. Now for the legs, just bring them out and rotate these up. Yeah, they're just like on these like long hinge joints here, so you just bring them up, tab these like that, bring the feet forward, rotate it around, untab the legs, and then bring these all the way down, and then flip these panels up to reveal the face, and there we have Shrapnel in his robot mode. And as I keep saying, very much accurate to his G1 toy and, well, this animation model to a point, I think. But yeah, surprising that this guy was hard to find. Like honestly, it weirds me out to like no end. Like, but yeah, so like here he is in his classic like black and purple like color scheme with the red chest here with some nice silver paint behind it. Like I forgot to mention that with Kickback. But yeah, these guys have all these cockpit pieces that were on the Diaclone toys now open. They do have some nice silver painted behind them. Like it's really nice. But do note all this black here on the chest is painted along with the stuff on the head. And if the head is like too tight and like you can't move it because it's just on a swivel, honestly I do recommend taking it apart. There's like 5 screws back here that you'd have to take apart and like shave off some of the paint that's on the mushroom peg, because I had to do that for mine because it got like stuck when I was trying to pose, just trying to move the head. So yeah, and also these are still like the same as their bug mode configuration, and well, you can still do blast effects. There's nothing hindering like up here in terms of like whatever features are in the insect mode. But yeah, So for his articulation, there's a rotation at the head, as I already showed. The arms can do a full 360 if you move the pincers out of the way. They can go out that far and have a bicep swivel. They do have a little bit over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow and nothing at the wrist except the transformation joint. He does have a rotation at the waist. It can do the full 360. It's just that it's a bit tight on my copy. So legs can go back that far, can go forward that far, can do a full split on a slight ratchet joint. I don't know why. You can't hear it, but if you have it in hand, it just thumps for some reason. I don't know why. So there is also a thigh swivel. Legs can bend a little bit over 90, and he does have good 90 degrees of bend at the ankle and toe articulation due to transformation. But for some reason, the ankle pivot is really tight. I don't know why. It's weird. So yeah, for his accessories, he just has his G1 blaster here, and also 2 pistols on the under side of the arms that you can take off to clean up either the bug mode or the robot mode. But they're pretty cool. I do kind of like these. I might display him with these, and also there is a combined mode that you can do that was the Legacy Evolution's gimmick, which was Evo Fusion, which was essentially just taking all the weapons, plugging one into the 5mm port back here, and then plugging one under here, forming a rifle of sorts, I guess. You can hold it. It's just that it looks a bit weird to me, but hey, it is what it is. So yeah, so that was Shrapnel, and now let's move on to our final member, Bombshell, which you'll see some familiarity between this and Shrapnel's alt mode because he's essentially a heavy remold of that figure. He pretty much shares the the lower arms and the legs of Shrapnel. It's a clever remold, honestly, and a faster way of getting him out compared to just waiting another line for him, because we had to wait for Shrapnel because it's a few years in between, and this was just a few months, interestingly enough. But yeah, here he is in his rhinoceros beetle mode, and honestly satisfying looking, especially with a nice purple and the yellow on the chest and with silver underneath. From what I understand, they chose the purple chest to be accurate in his insect mode, because I think on the animation model he had a black chest or a gray chest, and you can't really do a color change on a figure that is a deluxe without it being massively over budget or something like that. But yeah, so for accessories, he does come with his classic little blaster that looks kind of like his horn. And also he does have the same thing that Shrapnel has with having 2 blasters, basically acting as the legs. But these are honestly a bit more convincing in my mind because, well, he only has the front legs, and they don't look like they would support anything back here. So yeah. Also for articulation, these move. I don't know what, so you can just do that, I guess. Also the nose thing here can move, and also is blast effect compatible, which is cool, I guess, if you want shooting stuff. Same thing goes for the gun and for these guns back here. So yeah, so let's get on to the transformation. So to start off with, untab these panels from the arms, then bring them out. The exact same transformation. So bring these up, close that up, untab the legs, rotate it all around, bring the arms forward, just like that. Make sure you flip this panel here down, and then bring this all forward. Tab in the upper legs to shoulders, flip out the fists, and then untab the head, untab like the cover holding, like covering up the head. And there we have Bombshell in his robot mode. And honestly, this is a pretty good Bombshell in my mind. Like, he's a bit more awkward compared to the other two due to him being a remold of Shrapnel in my mind, but he works. He works as like the final member of the set in my mind. So yeah. Also, he can do the Evo fusion weapon combining thing, which is just taking off the legs and tabbing them to the sides of the blaster, which does give him a like triple barrel blaster, but it's kind of dumb. But hey, so yeah. So for articulation, he just has a rotation at the head, but it doesn't go far in between. Also, make sure to either grab the head or be very careful while moving this piece, because I think, yeah, it's pinned on. So, or I'm not going to test it. I think it might be pinned on, but do be careful. Like, also, you do get more detail if you pull it all the way back and revealing the fact that he's bald. So, yeah. So he just gets like slight rotation. Like arms can do a full 360, can go out that far, but if you untab these, they can go out a bit farther. Bicep swivel, over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, just like Shrapnel. He does have a full waist rotation, and his legs can go forward that far and can go back that far. Thigh swivel, legs can go a bit over 90. Ankles can go at 90 and can do the same amount of toe bend, but downwards. So that has been his articulation. For a remold, he's surprisingly good, but if you're completing the set, I will obviously go for him, but if you just want him, I say he's fun, but your mileage may vary on like QC. So yeah. Also, if you want to get these molds but don't want to pay the like very exorbitant like price for these like two here, they are doing repaints has their like deluxe Insecticon counterparts, Chop Shop and I can't remember, Venom, I think the green one was called. And we already got Ruckus, I think his name was, the yellow grasshopper out of Kickback's mold already, but he was in a 4-pack, so yeah. I'm pretty sure you can find him loose online, hopefully cheaply, but considering he's part of a set that is getting 2 more members, he might go up in price soon. So yeah, I'll probably review those guys later when the like Amazon exclusive like package like comes out, but right now, I'm happy with these 3. So yeah, and honestly, they look really nice together. The black, the purple, the yellow chests. So yeah. Also, one final comparison between them with one of my previous review, and one that I feel like is kind of like appropriate considering I think they all appeared in the Devastation game, and so did Nova Prime. So did Nova Prime before he knocked them all over. So, yeah. So, yeah. Like, they're like a decent size. They're meant to be like smaller bots, but yeah. So, that has been my review for the Legacy Insecticons. So, give me a like, comment, subscribe, share this with other people. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I do have a bunch of other reviews on my channel. I do have, like, my previous review was reviewing the, like, concept art Megatron, if you want to take a look at that. So, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and this is me signing out. Have a good rest of your day, etc., etc. I keep repeating myself. Goodbye.